We should be live now. I think. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 37th episode of the PiP Podcast. As always, I am Jacob, and I am here with my good friend Khaled.
How's it going?
Alrighty. Well, do you have anything you would like to start us off with?
You can. I have a few little tidbits, but you can start off.
So, okay. What do you know about Apex Legends?
Based in the Titanfall universe, isn't it like a contest basically, or do you want more like the technical side of the house?
No, that's fine. So it's a battle royale game, right?
Yeah.
In most battle royale games, you can like solo queue, duo queue, trios, and then like a quartet kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, Apex is the only battle royale, at least that I've played, so I don't know of any other ones that only go down to like duo. You can only do trios and duos. So that makes people that don't have friends or just like to play alone, it makes it harder for them because they have to be matched with a random player. I say harder because random players are exactly that. They're random. You don't know if they're going to like actually be on your side or they're going to go do their own thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because everyone wants a solo mode, but the creators are like, yeah, okay, cool. We will add a solo mode. Everyone's like, yay. But in actuality, it is solo, but only for you. All the other players are going to be trios or duos. So it's really funny, actually. It's like, yeah, you can play solo.
So wait, they're like, you can play solo, but everyone's just gonna gang up on you.
Yeah, basically.
That's kind of funny.
Because I'm pretty sure all it's doing is adding the no fill like options where like you can play a duo or a trio, but if you tick no fill, that means that they're not gonna match you with a random teammate. You're just gonna be alone.
Same time though, I bet there are some people who are like, I'm glad for this, and more power to them. Because that instant matchable odds going against 3 people versus your one guy, that does have a really cool like potential, but I don't know if that's going to play out the way they want it to.
I personally think out of everyone, like out of every character that would be suited for like lone wolfing in a game of, everyone else has a teammate or at least one other teammate, I think that's where you're going to see everyone using the movement-oriented heroes. So, or recon, I should say. So it'd be like Bloodhound, Pathfinder. I feel like they would use it more so they know where everyone's at.
Yeah.
And Pathfinder's more of like a... he's Pathfinder. He finds your path because he can go really far ahead of you. Sort of scout the area. Bloodhound can ping everyone, which is really good.
Yeah.
That's all I have on Apex, though. But they're... I guess there's a new takeover mode, Ring Fury. I don't know what that is. There's new stuff coming.
Yeah.
But I will talk more on that when I know more on that. So do you know what the Hunt Showdown is?
The Hunt Showdown. Right offhand, no.
It came out a few years ago. At least the beta did. what's the best way to describe it? You
Wait.
versus another team,
Okay.
and you're hunting monsters.
I do know that one. Okay. I most definitely know that. Like looking at it, yes. There's some really cool, creepy monsters they have in this game.
Yeah. I want to get it in play with Noah and everyone. I feel like that'd be a fun game to play.
Yeah.
But they had a major update. They added a whole lot of different new ammunition types. Is there an easier list to read than this? Because it's all spread out. Let me see if I can open it up. My computer is like slowing down. So, custom ammo is unlocked through the Book of Weapons. It replaces the standard ammunition for the duration of the mission. There's now all single shot weapons have been upgraded to make them more versatile. I feel like there was something I saw about like maps. Oh my gosh. There is a lot of ammunition. Basically everything. There's a explosive ammunition, poison, chaos bolt, choke bolt. But then there's a lot of them. There's almost too much for me to actually list. And this goes for like guns and the crossbows. Is that all they added? I could have sworn I saw something about the map, but I can't find it, so. There is a Monster Hunter World board game.
That's interesting. Is it? I'm trying to think of how the best way to describe it. So when they made the Dark Souls board game, just a few of the people playing it, but just one stands out in my mind about them saying that it feels like the game. Like the Dark Souls board game feels like the game. What does it have is it coming out or is it already out?
It's going to Kickstarter. So according to PC Gamer, the board game is being developed by Steamforged, the tabletop veterans behind the likes of Resident Evil 2 and Dark Souls board games. The game's rules mimic Monster Hunter World, tasking players with taking on a variety of giant beasts and upgrading themselves with their giblets. Card decks are used to represent the different weapons, with players able to craft new weapons and armor and carve monster parts. But yeah. Apparently, you can get like the maximum or like the biggest set, or sorry, the complete version is $279 because it comes with like all the miniatures and stuff like that, the Rathalos and stuff. Honestly, I'd play it.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept. I just wonder how much is it going to play on the game to make it feel like the game. So like a lot of times that you have that hunting mode, we have to go around trying to find out where this Rathalos is. You have basically your random encounters where there's the other like dick monsters just there to hurt you, and then you go into the fighting with this creature. Cue encounter music, but then each monster has different status effects they can put on you. So I wonder, will you have like status rings or cards that like, okay, now you're stunned, or you know what I mean? Like, will they do that way? Will there be go to jail kind of status where it's just kind of like you've lost these hit points, now go all the way back to start, or you know what I mean? Like, what is the concepts of it?
I'm not sure, but here I see this other section. I just dropped something. See this other section, and it says the Kickstarter is due to run from April 20th to April 30th. 10 days. So you only have 10 days to like put in a pledge. And the entry level like pledge is $70. And it gets you the Ancient Forest board and 4 monsters and 4 hunters. And what the makers estimate is about a 30-hour campaign with a replay value.
Wow.
That is a board game. It's like 30 hours. That's actually, when I think of board games, I don't think of like a 30-hour board game.
There's a game, Robert and Chad would play it a lot. Like, I remember we'd be hanging out and he was like, oh, I have to go over to one of those buddies' house. I think his buddy's name was also Trey, which is very funny. But they would go over to one of the guys' houses and it would be, he'd just basically be gone until the morning. And it's because they have to set up the game and the game takes so long to set up, and then playing the game. Like, so every time they're playing it, it's just forever.
Catan?
I don't think it's merged to Catan. I think it's a galactic version of, not version of the game, but a galactic game. I don't know if he's in the chat, but yeah, it's like a long game, and it's like even playing it, they weren't done within the times they're playing. So I guess it would be probably a 30-hour game. But I mean, that is a cool idea. I think with those kind of games, it would, yeah, because you basically set it up and then you're just coming in and playing that game. And then that's just what you're playing, so you don't move your pieces and so forth. Those kind of games really do shine when you have like the gaming tables you can change the counters to, like the tops. Because cats.
The complete experience, well, it's $279. But it ups the campaign time to around 75 hours. And it comes with 24 miniatures, a triple XL Kushala Daora, which I guess is one of the monsters, and over 1,800 cards. Which is, I'm assuming the cards are, again, probably like hints to where the monster would be, and then probably all the monster parts and stuff.
Yeah, probably like what you get off of each monster. It'll be very interesting to see how they do that mechanic, like build a Rathalos armor. Because I mean, I love that within anything, of using the parts of an animal, or parts of a monster rather, to build armor from. So,
indeed, in fact, I like that idea so much I might implement it into D&D, as in like the card thing. Maybe create little cards. So say they kill a monster and they decide to take something from it.
Yeah.
Create a card, and if you get enough of it, like say they go out hunting a specific type, if they get enough of it, they can give it to someone.
Yeah.
Give me those cards and get blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You give them like recipe cards, stuff like that.
So there is somewhere in the piles of like books and paper that I have somewhere else, is that I started making not a monster menu, but just that, where it would go, if you take animal B, these are all the things you can pull from it. And then its actual like price listing in game of how much it would cost. I think I only got to C because that's a lot of monsters to go through. And this was like right before Volos came out, I think. So I was like, okay, I'll wait. And then by the time I had Volos, then they're like Mordenkainen. I'm like, oh, dang it. So I never finished it. But yeah, and I was like, obviously keeping off the list things like sentient creatures. So someone like, how much for goblin skin? no one wants a goblin skin in a civilized city to walk in and like, I skinned these goblins. Well, go to the tanner. Oh, the tanner is a goblin. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, so
You go up to him, hey, can you teach me how to tan stuff? Why don't you just give it to me? I'll give you a fair price. Nah, I think I'll do it myself.
It's like, yeah. Then look at it. There's like a little like star brand with a spike running through it, and you look up on the wall, and he has the same thing. Like, what's that about? Long time ago, my family came from the sun spikes. Ooh, yeah. Never ran into those.
That's so cool. Where might they be? Oh, I think they're just names the exact place you just came from.
Down to like the actual layer. But 'cause I've said before that I would like to run an Iberon game that's heavily inspired by Monster Hunter. I think like that one kind of lends itself in the concepts of like technology and just nonsense that they're in.
See, that is the thing I'm looking forward to the most, because I've already started creating a continent for the next campaign I do that won't be the module.
Yeah.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most is what areas have what to trade and what they seek. Like the whole marketing system, because I feel like that can get fun in like a weird nerdy way. And then it's like it'll lead up to like good combat chances for like everything to go to, for it to hit the fan, so to say.
Talking about board game news, a lot of board game news came out.
Really?
Yeah, like crazily. Like, so there's an Aliens, like, so the Xenomorphs, they're getting a Kickstarter for their board game. So they already have like the computer rendered characters and Xenomorphs and so forth. But so it's like, yay, that's coming out. Alien, so it's called Alien Fate of the Nostrum or Nostromo. So this is like the people that were in the first movie. If you like look at the character mock-ups, and they're all these characters from the first movie. So it's like, that's a great thing, but then unfortunately that means that, but there's also like the news that the Metal Gear Solid board game that was being made by IDW, that one's been canceled. So like all the Metal Gear Solid fans aren't going to get that board game. And so, and they kind of show the stuff looked kind of cool, but yeah, so that's not going to happen for them. But then in the weird spot, Avatar is going to get an RPG.
Like Airbender?
Yeah, Last Airbender, correct.
Okay.
And then you have it where both, oddly enough, well, I'll consider these card games versus board games, but Lord of the Rings and then Warhammer 40K are getting card games. Or so they're getting Magic the Gathering. Like they're getting Magic the Gathering love. I remember they were talking about Wizard of the Coast and D&D are going to be playing around in that sandbox of Magic and Warhammer. So it's very interesting to see that it's expanded out to Wizards of the Coast for the cards as well, for Magic cards. It's almost kind of full circle if you think about it, where how Lord of the Rings is what inspired Gygax and all to create Dungeons and Dragons, and even been sued by the Tolkien estate, and now they have the rights to it.
The Tolkien estate.
Yeah, Tolkien estate.
Place that you don't want to be.
Yeah, they get vicious for some strange reason.
Well, did you? So I don't know when it happened, but I know it's been, it's been a while. Microsoft now owns Bethesda.
I believe so. Yes, I think I knew that.
Okay. Well, it is now official that some of Bethesda's future games will be exclusives.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
Because everyone was like, when it first happened, I think Bethesda came out and be like, "No, we're not going to have exclusives on Xbox."
Yeah,
but now it's official; they will.
They're going to be like Xbox, and some are going to be PC exclusives.
Yeah,
which is very interesting. I have a cat.
It's like they better not make the next Elder Scrolls game like an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, it'd be kind of irresponsible.
Yeah.
But then again, who did Diablo Immortals? Bless you.
Diablo Immortals?
Yeah, or Immortal. Whichever one was the mobile game.
Just Blizzard?
Okay. So maybe they might take some tips and not do that when they thought that was a good idea.
Well, I mean, Bethesda did Elder Scrolls Blades before Immortals came out.
How did that work for them?
Actually, pretty well.
Okay.
I think. I don't think anyone hated on it. I think it was actually a pretty cool one.
That's the thing. I do enjoy mobile games. I think with the problem with Diablo is that people were expecting a new Diablo in the vein of actually console or PC, and then they kind of like gave them that. So I understand their outrage.
When did Diablo 4 get announced? That was a while.
Which one?
Diablo 4.
I don't remember.
It was announced 2019. And it says the platforms it would be on is PS4, Xbox One, Windows. But I assume that will change, hopefully.
What are hold on. Cat's doing something weird. What's up, buddy?
So there is a new ghost hunting game.
Okay.
You chase like the sound of static, and it's like a lo-fi aesthetic, according to PC Gamer. I wonder if they're just trying. Oh, the game is literally called Chasing Static. From what it seems like, it looks interesting, but I think they're just trying to ride that Phasmophobia wave.
Okay.
But I'm not quite sure. It very much looks unpolished at this point.
There is I can't think of the game now. There's a game where it is a ghost hunting game. But it plays really heavy on the EVP. It's a sequel. The sequel gets outrageous, like metaphysically speaking, outrageous, but it's really well done atmospherically because the way that it's done. So you play the EVP, and you either have to play it slowly to pick up the voice, or play it fast to pick up the voice, and then sometimes you have to play it in reverse, and then things will happen, or sometimes you might catch a shadow person, and it's really just atmospheric. I think they handled supernatural elements very well in that one, but yeah, you will see your quote unquote Phasmophobia clones or inspirations, I guess.
Yeah,
that'll come out soon. But when I first heard of what you guys playing Phasmophobia, the one thing that came to mind as a hope is that this causes Fatal Frame to pick back up. and popularity for them to bring out a new Fatal Frame. I think that'd be.
I've been trying to download the new update for Call of Duty. I don't know where this came from, but it popped in my mind, right? I am at 96% downloaded. And it is on a external hard drive. It is the only thing on that hard drive. And it is filled, the hard drive.
Oh, no.
It is over 256 gigabytes big. That is annoying.
Yes, no, that's
too big. That's what she said.
Yeah, but she was also downloading.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
How this game is this big. Maybe it's downloading the whole game twice or something. I don't know. I'll look into it later.
Yeah.
That gets on my nerves.
It's kind of interesting.
It's worth talking about.
Where you do have it was like, what is the point of buying digital, physical copy?
Oh, there you go. Try and bring him back in here. It instantly kicked you out.
That was kind of strange.
Yes. Continue.
All right, you hear me?
Yes.
I do respect the expedience of you recalling. Yeah, but it's very weird where you have these hard disks and you put it in and then they give you gigs of updates.
Yeah.
What's the point of having this game at all if there's gigs of updates? Some as big as the game itself. It's just like, are these discs even have any content in them?
I think it is. Say, discs are very much outdated now.
I mean, they are, but I mean, they still exist in their own. You know what I mean? You still get hard copies of disc. And even if they are outdated, they should be stopped being done. But you still go to GameStop to get a hard disc. Still go get disc. And it doesn't really serve. It serves this really strange purpose. And I was saying with Battleborn, there was a point where I put it in. I'm like, I don't think there's any information actually on this disc. I really feel like it's just a ticket to ride. So it's just to verify that you've actually bought this game and there's no real information to play the game solo. It's just kind of a weird thing where you just get in these giant, bulky games where it's just some of them are gorgeous, but some of them just it's just as the same as another game and a smaller content, a smaller, shorter download than what they have for other games. So I don't know. I would like that to be a thing. You have to buy a giant hard drive for your games console, and yet it doesn't do anything. And for
honestly,
computer,
I would like that.
What's that?
It's instead of buying a disc, when you buy a game, it sells it to you. If you get it physically, it gives you a USB.
Yeah.
A high powered USB, so it's not slow or choppy. I would like that.
That's the funny thing is, so PSP tried that first. PSP had I remember someone sold it to me too, which agitated me because I went to get Patapon. So anyways, got the game, opened it, and there's absolutely nothing in there. And they're like, oh yeah, this is what we're trying to do. And you get the case though. So you get the case, the paper, everything's the same. Technically, you could even put the UMD in there, but it's just a piece of paper going, this is for downloading. It's like, no, I'd rather have a hard copy. just in case my file's corrupted or whatever. Like, granted, now they've made it where Steam or whatever can verify that you've had this game before, kind of thing, but it's whatever. I'm just not the biggest fan of completely digital.
My only gripe is hard drives need to become cheaper.
That's true.
Because I can tell you the exact storage that is free, at least in my computer, right? So I have 2 terabyte hard drives. 2 hard drives, 1 terabyte each. That's the best way to say it. And then I have a SSD that is only like 110 gigabytes because it's only meant to get the computer to start up really fast and load stuff really fast. So on the SSD, I have 16 gigabytes free. On my hard drive called Paradox Shear, there's only 100 gigabytes free out of basically 1,000. And then on Alpha Blue, there's 115 gigabytes free out of basically 1,000.
Yeah.
And then there's my external hard drive, which is 256 or whatever. And it currently has 9 gigabytes free, but it still doesn't have enough to download Call of Duty.
I don't know. It's very funny where, like, thinking back when I start using like digital cameras, and it's just like, this is I can't remember the categorization, but it's just like whatever. I think it was like 512 MB, and it's like, ooh, all these megabytes, yay! I can take more pictures, and then it's just like, you got that gig. Oh my god, a gig! What can I do with a gig? And there were times where now, like, have a 14 gig something. It's like, hey, they're kind of running out of space. You know what I mean? It's like, you look at the prices of it. It's very funny because it shows like I have a thing where it's just like, oh, if you want a terabyte for your like micro SD terabyte for your phone, just attaching the word terabyte to it, and it shoots them up to like hundreds of dollars in some spots because they put the word ultra and extreme on them. But then you go, oh, I just want a 1,000 plus gig, and it's like substantially lower. It's like, these are so funny, and it's like, I can't wait to see what's the next step that comes out where people are like, oh my gosh, I need a blah blah blah.
It's funny because a terabyte like SD card, if you get like SanDisk, it's almost $200. But the thing is that a lot of newer things can use it, but certainly a lot of things can't. They just can't process that it has that much space.
Yeah.
So like, if I got a terabyte SD card and I put it in my GoPro, there's only like, I'm not even sure like my newest GoPro would be like, oh yeah, it's a terabyte SD card.
Yeah. Like, I am tempted to see what happens, because I know like tablets and phones were like, oh, it can take up to a 500 gig or whatever, just to see what that means. Is it like, hey, you understand that, yeah, I'll let you borrow my car, and your car is like a V12, but people don't, you know what I mean? They're just like, I only drive it the slowest I possibly can go, because I can't comprehend that this thing can go from 0 to 60 before I can breathe. So I'd like to see, or will it just murder my phone? My phone just gives up, like, nah, I'm good. I don't know what you've done to me. It's like, just won't work. We'll have to look up that experiment. What happens if you put a terabyte in a phone that only can handle a lot less?
I will say, you could easily just get like a 400 gigabyte SD card.
Oh yeah.
For like $64.
Oh
You
yeah.
could get 2 of those, and it would still be less than the terabyte SD card.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I would never buy an SD card from any distributor that is not like SanDisk or whatever the fuck. Because the reason why I say that is because you can easily spoof it to make it say it has the fat like a terabyte.
Mm-hmm.
And people sell those all the time, and most people don't know that it actually doesn't have 1,000. And then once you go over, like, so you could take like a 4 gigabyte SD card,
Yeah.
spoof it to be like 500.
Mm-hmm.
So it says it's 500, and then once you go over that 500, it like corrupts your files.
Exactly.
But it still says the file's on there. So if you don't check before you delete it off of whatever, it'll just be like, yeah, no, you don't have it anymore. Gasp. Yeah. You liar.
Well, that was the big thing about it, was just like when people were jumping on the terabyte hype train when it first came out. There's like, it's better to get like they're those really cool. They were the cool like I think it was SanDisk. They look like books. They're just like external hard drives, but they all look like books.
Might be Western Digital.
I think so. But it's just like getting a few of those and then just networking them, so all your information isn't just put onto one hard drive.
Yeah.
So 1 terabyte being corrupted, it's just like the same concept of like, if you get $100, don't get it in just a $100 bill. It's the best thing to do is get it into 520. So if it falls out of your pocket, you might lose a 20, and yes, that's frustrating, but you don't lose $100.
I will say that how much is a 1 terabyte? So from Seagate's pretty good as well. I use Western Digital, but I think I'm gonna use Seagate from an X hard drive to test it out.
Yeah.
But for a 1 terabyte hard drive from Seagate, it's like $50.
Mm-hmm.
But I could go up to 4 terabyte hard drive, and it's $80, and it's almost worth it to spend that extra $40 to get the the extra 3 terabytes or whatever.
Yeah.
But
because it is very funny where it's like and the great thing is there at one time SanDisk wasn't accepted, which I always love it when it's like these little companies and when they're like kind of new. So like a SanDisk thumb drive was kind of like a cheap, people like, I'm not gonna get a SanDisk, and they'll look for whatever company logo is on the thumb drive. And I love that, where it's just like, and that's why I always speak about like your quote unquote off brands, because there's just a chance that they are just the little guys and the upstarts are just trying to build up momentum to become a good company, or at least an acceptable company. But I think that's funny.
Like hard drive area, I would go for like a hard drive that isn't well known. Like for instance, my SSD. I picked a SSD up that was from a company that I did not fully trust. Yeah. Okay, it's from Pioneer.
Oh yeah, Pioneer.
Now, Pioneer, I had only known for like music. I think not music, but like, let me look up the brand. Pioneer Electronics. Okay, no, I was right. Speakers. I had only seen them in speakers. I had never seen a hard drive from them. Going to their website, it doesn't even say that they have hard drives. Like, you can go to optical drives, but that is basically like a DVD burner. Yeah, these are DVD burners. Like I didn't even know that they had a SSD, but I still got it, and it works fine. But SD cards, I'm just like, I ain't even gonna test it. It ain't even worth risking it, because if an SS or SD card goes bad when I'm using it for like video, like on the GoPro,
Yeah.
that just ruins everything.
That makes sense.
Especially if you get like you purposefully get a big one and you're taking like 4K video.
Mm-hmm.
Because 4K fills up really fast. It could just like, if they spoofed like a 4 gigabyte or even a 16 gigabyte one, you would know within like minutes. It would just be like, ran out of space. It's like, what? Now my file's corrupted. What else? I've been going through Amazon, finding all these leatherworking tools. And it looks very reasonable to get a lot of the stuff. I think, because I've done like a little bit of leatherworking before, just like little stuff, but I never had any of the tools. But I really enjoy making things in general.
Yeah.
Also, a big portion of leather making is like sewing. And while I'm not like, I really enjoy sewing, like cloth stuff, I'm good at it. It's just one of those things where I can zone out in and do. So I feel like I could get the hang of leatherworking, like sewing the pieces together and stuff very easily.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everything needs like planning. Planning helps things go the best, but like with sewing in general, like you have to cut your pieces and line them up and so forth. But there's something, I'm not going to say, oh, it's easy, but there's something a little bit more refreshing with leatherwork, because it's kind of like after you cut and have all the pieces and you do the punches for all of it, you just know that it's like, okay, all I have to do is actually do the different, like the respective, like keeping it taut or whatever, and I just have to run those string through it. Versus like when you're doing your sewing, you're lining it up and then you're hitting the sewing machine and holding the pieces and going through. Or like,
I ain't even talking about like sewing machine. I'm talking about like just the thread and needle.
No. Saying in the difference in between.
Yeah.
Like even with like sewing by thread and needle by hand, with fabric, again, there is this kind of like anxiety that I don't feel when I did like leather work.
Yeah.
Like keeping it straight, yeah, making sure they're lined up, yes, but because the way I see it, like I did a tube for my first try, and I didn't even have all the tools I needed to do it, and it turned out pretty dang good.
Yeah.
So yes, there's something a little bit I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Freeing, relaxing, about leatherwork in comparison.
I'm also thinking about doing it over at Trey's in that little shop area that Noah's claimed. I was like, yo, do you care if I do this back there? And he was like, no, it's fine. I was like, cool. And then the day he actually asked me, he was like, yo, do you want to like hook up your live streaming stuff back here? And while we're messing around doing all this stuff, we can live stream and just like chat. I was like, yeah, we can do that. He asked me to do it today because he was like, you can just do it on your phone. I was like, my phone's at 40%. I'm not doing that.
Because he also has the other shop thing too, doesn't he?
That they're using that as storage. like the first one that you see when you walk off their back porch.
Mm-hmm.
You turn left. That is storage.
Then there's the right one.
Yeah, like the one that you go out of like the screened in area and you have to walk around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one that he's using.
Okay.
For that. But I think we'll hook up like the GoPro in there. Stuff like that. Add some lighting. Just like bring a lamp over or something. Because it has a light in there, but it's really dark.
Yeah.
Because over here, I do not have a table that I feel comfortable like punching, like doing the punching on the pieces of leather with a hammer.
Okay, thought you went a little cowl on us for a second.
No. I will say,
Drink
when we were working out today, Noah joined us and he goes, "We should just go down to the store, get some boxing gloves, instead of like actually working out the normal way. We'll just beat each other up for like 3 hours." And I was like, "What?"
Well, we used to do that. Like Carl, myself, and three other guys. We would do that for our PT. Would go to the gym and then just do boxing for a bit. Of course, having things like don't punch each other in the face, just doing body shots, and you're not trying to hurt each other. You're just trying to do the contact and so forth.
Yeah.
But those were 5 to 6 men that were understanding to do it. I think there's a little too much emotion involved to try to do that there. Can't really speak the highs. Like I would control myself. Because I even said Cody's like, if he wants to, we can just do boxing. And he's afraid. But I'm like, I'm not going to hurt you because that's not the point of it. It's an exercise, not a brawl. So, but I think one accidental shot to someone's face and then they're going to start swinging. So,
Yeah. No, I would do boxing. I would enjoy boxing more. Trey Trey's been on this whole thing. He's like, we're going to do burpees. And I was like, okay, we can try. So like putting it off. And I texted him today. I woke up today. I had forgotten it was Tuesday. And my dad was like, you gonna go work out today? I was like, what? Work out? What do you mean? And I was like, oh crap, it's 4:30 and I work out at 5. We get over there. I was like, what do you want to do? He's like, we're doing burpees. And I was like, oh god, oh no. Noah joined us today, and he was like, I'm never letting Trey be my fitness coach ever.
Why not?
Because we don't like burpees.
Okay.
Because we can't do them correctly.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things about fitness is have the technique down versus the volume.
Yeah. But I would have much rathered gone and got boxing gloves and beat the crap out of each other for 3 hours.
And boxing's a good one. Boxing and swimming are both really phenomenal for you.
No, I love swimming. Ever since I like forced myself to learn how to swim. By almost drowning in Trey's pool.
Hey. There's a startling amount of people who learn how to swim through relatives throwing them in the water, so
yeah. Surprisingly, there isn't like a whole lot of gaming news. Other than like modders and stuff like that. I have been doing a lot of research into the MacBooks, like the 2 new ones that came out.
Yeah.
Mainly because they use Apple's own processor, which makes things that are made for the MacBook or Apple products run crazy well. And even some things that aren't made for it run pretty good, like better than you think they would. But then some things are just like, oh my god, why would you do this? That's sort of standard when that happens, almost.
Yeah.
Been thinking a lot about D&D.
I can say this.
It's always fun. We are being tracked in our game.
What? Who's tracking you?
What do you mean? I called it the same session, and I feel like either you fully planned for that to happen, or once I said it, you're like self-fulfilling prophecy. It's happening now. I was like, we've been marked. Next session, hey, there's a handprint on our cart that won't come off. We've been marked.
We've been marked for reals.
The first time it was just a guess. The second time it's more of a, oh my god, situation. I'm glad that Cody put forth a suggestion for like what to do, because I was on my own there for a second. I was like, are we just gonna get to talk to these people and hope that people can roll their checks well? Or are they gonna give us something to go do? And then Cody was like, maybe we can kill some of the monsters in the area. And I was like, Cody, that's great.
It's a phenomenal idea.
Now we have a goat head, a dragon head, and whatever the other one was.
A lion.
A lion's head, because we killed a chimera. I have to fight myself not to say chimera, because that was the joke in Rust. We were the river chimeras, just to get on people's nerves.
I do every once in a while like to say chaos.
What? Oh, okay. Chaos. Chaos. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, how do you get chaos from chimera?
Just look at the C and the H, my dude. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was planned in there. It's just the very concept of what does that mean exactly.
Nothing good.
I mean, who doesn't want to have a date with an inquisitor?
Nah. Not me.
No, I wonder, like, I didn't see too much feedback of towards the suspicion, but well, at least from you right now, what did you feel about the monastery or the abbey?
What did I feel about it?
Yeah.
Was I supposed to be suspicious?
No, not really. No, that's the thing. Like, it was just that as a player thinking about their character's headspace, what was Nazir's thoughts about the abbey?
Like, okay, after he saw it or going to it?
Going to it. Say first.
He was a little iffy on how they would react to the tiefling. But after that, he was intrigued that they don't care. But then seeing how the building was heavily armored, it sort of set a new standard for how much they get terrorized by monsters in the area. I was like, dang, I thought it was just like maybe they just happen a little bit more frequently, but these guys, they have the whole wooden bar on the door. Probably on the windows too. Very glad I brought Vermilion to this area. Because he, even on his stats, it says he's very good at perception. The guard Drake stats, he has like a +2 to perception, I think, which is good for like an animal. But he also killed a chimera.
Yeah. I always love it when I can look at the hit points of it. It's like, oh, this thing has this many hit points, and then a player or whatever deals the exact number.
Yes.
For some reason, I enjoy. I guess it's just the satisfying, like you knocked it off the table correctly. I mean, in the same token, though, it is very funny when it's happened twice with Artorias versus Marina Farfire, and then Nazir going through the window where it's the exact roll to down them in a way. Because there's a things that's like, I could have, it's like it worked out. I could have planned it better, and then dice are like, I got you. This is perfect. Because with Artorias, Marina did the, like, she has the build, like, I think it's like fearful smite, so it makes people afraid, but then he also still needs to get attacked, so I didn't add it. So he was like, oh, I'm fine, but then I was like, oh, I forgot to roll that dice. It just rolled a 2. Like, a throwaway roll. A 2, he'll probably be fine, and then that 2 is what just dropped him. And I think Nazir needed 5 exact damage once, and just like rolled, and it's rolled first, and then when the person's like, oh yeah, that's it, then it makes me laugh. I was like, oh, I couldn't. There's no. It's almost like you can't metagame this when it's the exact thing. Like it happens before you know you have the knowledge of how much would it take to get rid of them, or not rid of them, but down them.
I will say, I had a very happy moment the other day over something really small during my session. It was it was the celestial fight.
Yes.
He did a lot of damage to Trey, so Grotmar. And Matthew goes, how many hit points are you at, Trey? And Trey just, he's about to say it, and he's like, you wouldn't know that information. Be quiet. And I was like, yes, Trey. He wouldn't know that information. You're correct.
No metagames.
Yeah.
That's always fun. Now, are you going with the DM rolls death saves? I think I heard you doing that.
Yes. One. Yeah. I asked that, and because Noah went into death saves.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, do you want me to roll your death saves? Because he was about to roll, and he was like, yes. It's like, okay. And I just marked it on my sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That he also failed that one death save.
Mm-hmm.
He was just looking at me, trying to tell my face, and I just blank stared at him.
That's how it goes. Like,
this next session, I feel like it's gonna throw them for a loop. I don't want anyone to go back and listen to this, so I won't say it on here, but I'll tell you after.
No, absolutely. I understand exactly.
Did you think one of us was going to be very suspicious of the monastery?
Not really. I didn't. No, it was just a interesting, like, a takeaway from it. To some degree, the characters did. I think like the characters almost had the same let their guard down ism as they do with like the orphanage and the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
To some degree, because I think in the orphanage and the Shadowfell, I purposely made it as a place of respite because it has its own soundtrack, and there's the environment that's made purposely for the idea that, hey, this is the Resident Evil save room, you can get a breather kind of thing.
Yeah.
The monastery, I think there was still a bit of tension there. But it's just the concept of like, how does, again, like the tiefling who is judged in this area, and then the Oathbreaker paladin that's now hanging around in a place that is the residence of his old god. So how do they feel in that concept of being technically in a place where they are being scrutinized potentially in their own mind, or if that even is a thing?
So wait, did the monastery say that the Raven Queen was worshipped around there?
I don't think she, because I remember you bringing it up.
Well, I brought out like he went the Zero One to go do his prayer in private, but they also said like themselves something about it, and I was like, yeah, and then he was like mostly about death. Oh.
Now, did you talk to the Inquisitor and say that too?
No. I didn't say anything about the Raven Queen to the Inquisitor.
Okay. So then, yeah, the concepts of like the Raven Queen wouldn't be worshipped, but it's the idea that death is a thing. So she is acknowledged.
That sounds about right. Like, as to what you said. Because I didn't even bring it up to the monks. They mentioned it, and I was like, woo!
Yeah, but I mean, as there are such things as death cults, then there's a good chance that there are people out there that worship other deities of that macabre nature.
So I wouldn't know this, but has it been stated that Yanmi has family in this area?
Yeah, that hasn't been stated. But Yanmi does come from Trubor, but just it's unknown where in Trubor she comes from.
Has no one asked?
Correct. No one really talks about it. Because there's a place called Traval, and then that's where Marina Farfire's Wix comes from. Because she is Falborga of Traval. So she has a location, a home, as it were.
Has Yanmi ever expressed that she misses her family? Question mark?
No. No. Because I know she's told a few of the people, I would say, about her past. But she, for the most part, doesn't have family.
Oh. Because I was going to say, after we do this Baron thing, everyone can just put on their costumes and we can get the Gustav guns. We'll go get them.
Go get who? Their family?
Yeah, bring them back.
Wait, why would you? Wait, hold on. So you wait. Oh, wait.
If Yanmi wanted to see the family, we'd go get them and bring them out.
Wait, what? Wait, okay, so what's the Gustav gun have to do with it?
If anyone says no.
Jeez. Oh.
No, we have a house here. What house?
Oh, destroy the house to bring them with us.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Okay.
Inquisitor shows up. You can't just take people out of Trueborg. Bet.
Why not?
That's all I'm gonna say. Can those people not leave willingly?
Trueborg?
Escape? Yeah.
Well, they can leave. But I mean, in their own aspects, though, why do they have to leave? Like, it's a little bit different from
because they grew up there. They don't.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different and a little bit of the same of the city from the Shadowfell. Is like there was no benefit for them leaving
in their minds, unless you like, well, there's the sun, or you can actually travel the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the idea is that they're stuck in the terrors that exist in the Shadowfell, while the people of the whole area, the region of Turoborg, they can go anywhere they want to. But why? Why travel when they have everything they need to? Or why travel outside of this area, this kingdom, when...
Because there's so many monsters.
Yeah, but
Two
it's the
persons
aspect
landed in the middle of a farm and was like, yo, this is a common occurrence. Give me a horse.
But yeah, it's just ideas like I like to think the Trueborg is a world right before Witchers, if you think.
Yeah.
So it's ripe for adventure, but no one wants to do other than what they can, because bigger cities don't have to deal with chimera and griffins, because those animals know they are going to get like killed by siege weapons or spears by a bunch of guards, or knights. But smaller outcroppings, and you're kind of like, just like the frontier, you move west to your own hazard. So the concept of what is an owl bear but an owl and a bear in nature. Yes, it's terrifying for chimeras, but if you're hiding inside your house, then a chimera is going to fight a griffin, since they're natural enemies.
Okay, I did have a thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it almost pointless for Noah to try and tame a griffin if he has a horn that will bring them to him?
Well, so pointless. I don't think. Well, pointless, no, to some degree, because the difference between a trained horse and a wild horse. So even if you could bring a horse to you, it could still bite your arm and kick you in the face. But a trained horse or tamed horse will probably find you to be a location of food and something of like safety and even camaraderie. So the griffin horn only causes them to be interested in what this noise is. And if you've seen like the griffin horns that were carried by those individuals with chandelier, the griffin horn can be used to help tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So different noises.
That's why I was thinking about it, because they were flying griffins.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the horns, so it kind of made me feel like they just called random griffins.
Yeah, so I mean, with this one though, I would say, again, not going into it, there's a good chance those griffins are their pets. Because looking at the other two Chandelerians, I don't know what to call them, Shandos?
Shandos.
People with Chandelier, there was one with a horse, Pegasus, and then one with a floating owlbear. So they do rely on creatures.
Okay, wait a second. Let me just say, Chandelier is a place that doesn't exist to everyone in their mind. So another part of me is just like, oh, they live in a place that doesn't exist. They can do things that shouldn't be possible. We're gonna go there and it's gonna be like Wakanda. Black Panther.
I guess in some aspects it does have a Wakanda feel to it.
They'll have like the best magic items. They just choose to not be a part of the world.
The funny thing is, there is a character that you've already met.
What?
There's a character that all of the Justifiers have already met that's from Chandelier.
It's the druid, isn't it?
No.
It's Gion, isn't it?
No, even though he knew. That was a wonderful like reveal that he knew of Chandelier.
Was it recent?
No, you haven't met this character, and you haven't re-encountered this character in quite some time.
Huh. Can you give me like an area that we met him in?
Ooh, no. Because it's
Can you give me an area that we didn't... Wait a second. An area that we didn't meet him in.
An area that you didn't meet him in. You didn't meet them in Algeth, dealing with...
The dragon.
The Dark Waters, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, making sure. Yeah, so you didn't meet it in Algeth.
So we met him in... It's Royo.
No, Royal's not from...
It's Royo.
No, because remember both. Royo talked about going to Crown because he saw it as a child across the sea, or whatever that's called, a smaller sea. It's not really a lake.
But yeah, he's Brielle.
Brielle's from Oslin area. So Oslin is close to Brielle's home because that's where Anna lived. Oslin is where Artorias is from.
Oh, wow. It's that wizard guy that... Wait. Cans Gleason isn't the guy that we helped in the elemental temple, is it?
Mm-mm. So you were with no, he was... that's Mirth. Mirth was saved from the elemental temple. Cheza Hearth, I don't think you've ever met. So Cheza Hearth was the guy that asked for you to help his friend. Oh, so asked the Justifiers. No, so the Justifiers. So how that went down was that so there's the academic Arcana, or Arcana Academia. He's the one who went behind the dean's back and hired the Justifiers because Mirth took a little orb that could basically shift through elements. And so that's how he could get through the different elements in the elemental thing without having to activate as everyone else had to. So that's Cheza, who's actually also afraid of Iggy. But when he didn't go in because, again, he's not an adventurer, he's afraid. So then they found Mirth. Mirth almost died. And then they brought Mirth back to the academy, and so they haven't... No, it's not Mirth.
Was it the baby Tiamat rider?
No, also no. But interesting theory though.
Pecan, apple, pumpkin, peach.
Also not pecan, apple, pumpkin, peach. That is a very interesting though, with the guy or flying the pseudo Tiamat, because you think of the concept where he's also taming flying creatures, and then that's the island that the Justifiers went to is also something that sits... One, it has connection to the elemental temple,
yeah,
and then also technically has connections to Chandelier.
How? What?
Oh yeah.
How does it have connections to Chandelier? What?
So
it's the guy on the tree.
The guy on the tree?
The guy in the tree.
What guy in the tree?
In the tower.
Oh, the guy fused to the tree? Well, but he was, beside the tree. Yeah, but him? No, it's not him either.
Dang it.
So Noah found Democles found the Griffin horn in the Hall of Elemental. Where he found it was an old Griffin stable. Like they had like stuff set up for actually like the tack for like griffins. In the Hall of Elemental, one of the most recurring themes, even on his jar of honey, are winged angel-like creatures, as they were referred to. And so those angel-like creatures being winged elves. And then if you look at the fact that he has a horn that calls griffins, and then people from Chandelier have horns like his that call griffins. So there's a trifecta of connections between those three locations.
Dang it. I want to know so bad. Are you sure that I met them?
Yes, absolutely.
Lady Sia.
Absolutely not.
How many times has Nazir seen him?
Oh, that's a very good question. How many times? Let me see. Trying to think. Hold on. It's a very good question. I want to say 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 3 or 4 times.
I'm gonna say 3. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say 3. 3 times.
And it's a male.
I didn't say it was male, but I did say it was female.
We don't meet too many females.
And that's what are you talking about?
What?
You know, the Justifiers know a bunch of females. It's almost right down the middle, I would think, right?
Fior.
Like, that was great because I was about to say something. Then you said, I was like, oh, wait, something. I understand the word, but something's wrong with the connection.
That was a joke.
I know, but it was a good joke because it was like disarming. Like, wait.
See, that's the thing. It feels like there hasn't been a lot done in your session since I've joined. As in, like, quests. It's been really long quests, which makes it seem like not a lot's been done. Is it Ross Tumble?
No, it's not Rose Tumble.
Dang it, would you even tell me if I got it right?
Maybe. I think I would. Yeah, I'll meta. Yeah, I'll tell you if you got it right. I'd let you have 3 more guesses, and then I won't say anything.
Bro. Alright, well, let's do the final segment, and then I'll continue guessing after the PiP.
Okay. So we do the segment that is called "What are you watching, playing, reading, listening to?" So, welcome. What you got?
I am watching Mushoku Tensei, the anime that China doesn't know what they're talking about. ReZero, Attack on Titan, which got pretty good. It's getting good. I think it doesn't have too many episodes yet. There's the Skate the Infinity that's getting really good. I've given up on Promise Neverland. Jujutsu Kaisen's pretty good. Or it's picking back up kind of thing. That's all the ones that I think I'm watching right now. Other than the dungeon that only I can open and that I haven't kept up with. I'm gonna binge it. Reading. Read Attack on Titan. Keeping up with I was about to say Boruto. No, I'm not keeping up with Boruto. Boku no Hero is what I was trying to say. Keeping up with that. Been reading a undisclosed D&D module, studying up on it. Some of my players have been trying to get me to disclose which module it is, and they will not know until session 0.
It's going to be the Tomb of Town and Country.
Yes, it could be Lovecraft Country.
Ooh.
Watching, reading, playing. Well, I want to play Black Ops Cold War, but it's not downloading. Played some Apex, played DayZ. Ooh, been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. Messing around with the Druid.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to... Well, I'm playing regular D&D, but that's a given. Listening to... What's that song? I've been listening to Critical Role, actually. I actually started to listen to like the most recent quest without listening to the beginning of the whole game. I started at like episode like 100 and I caught up to whatever the most recent one is. But the new quest is pretty interesting. I like because they're up north in that. It explores a character that died and has come back, which is very similar to something that is, yeah. That is probably why it piqued my interest the most, honestly, is because I'm doing something similar to that.
Gotcha.
And crap, what's that song? I came over here to look at that song. Oh, I think it's pronounced like JP Sax. It's like If the World Was Ending. Listen to that song. Leap of Faith from like the Spider. No, wait. Is that a song? No.
From,
What's Up Danger?
Yeah. What's Up Danger? Home.
But yeah, that's basically what I'm listening to.
Okay.
Like how about you?
So watching, Redo of Healer, a few little animes. It's very fun. They all have the same theme to some degree of like the magical worlds.
Yeah.
So Redo Healer, of Healer. Then the dungeon only I can open, but then I also found the ads like, why are they getting longer in their titles? So this one, the English version title is Suppose a kid from a Last Dungeon Boonies or the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town. So what that means is that the last dungeon is in like our JRPGs is your final dungeon where you're going to level up and your characters is going to have their big moments and then you're topped in. That's where the world ending event is stopped and so forth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what happens? So when a kid that lives around these bad last dungeons goes to the city where your typical I'm gonna start my adventure goes to. So he's about a level 100 in a level 1 town. And it's just like his character, and it's kind of interesting because his character is just like, oh yeah, I'm really slow and weak. It took me 6 days to get to this town. And Leia's like, oh yeah, by train. And she's like, he was like, oh no, I ran here the whole way. And she's like, excuse me? And so
what did you just say to me?
Yeah. And it shows like the train going by and the cows and farmers. And when he said running, he goes by and the sonic boom causes everything to start floating up in the air. And so he's just like, people are like, oh yeah, I thought there's monsters where you live. And he's like, no, they're just animals. And they show like giant creatures and yeah, they're giant versions of animals, but they're monsters because of their size and their attributes. And he's just like one-shotting them. Like he uses only a pluck to get rid of them. And I kind of feel like there's some degree of picking at My Hero in that aspect. Because he is doing like decoisms from like the first seasons where he's like, oh, can I get stronger kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because the character is like, oh, I'm weak. I'm the weakest. No one should depend on me because I suck. But it's not true. He's actually doing all this amazing stuff. He's just too hayseed, like the naive from the boonies, to understand what's going on.
I did enjoy that in like My Hero. I enjoyed that. Like, because in the beginning, he still had the mindset of if he didn't have a quirk.
Yeah, like I can appreciate and understand, but there's a few people who first start watching My Hero and it's like, so help me, he has to not do this through season 2. He has to get over it and start doing something else. So
even in season 1, there was a quick pickup, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, so the main character is kind of like that. He is kind of self-doubting in some aspects, but I don't know, there's something just adorably humble about him that makes it go, okay, well, he's naive, and that's the reason why he thinks he's the worst. Because even when he was like weak, he's jumping off of like a 30-foot cliff to attack a thing, and he's like, holy crap, that's 30 feet up. Like he's just and it's nothing. So and then when it even shows like a flashback of him, he was like, yeah, when I fought my first monster, I was afraid. And they show like the stereotypical JRPG cloaked evil wizard thing, and it was a demon lord that he's taking on, and he's afraid of this as if it's like his first like level 1 monster. So in that concept, it's really cute in that aspect. I finished up WandaVision. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I might actually rewatch it, binge now, just to make it to like a movie. Really well done. And what that means for the whole of Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be hopefully back to exciting for me. I've always said before that Infinity War and Endgame weren't my 2 favorites. They really kind of didn't hit as hard as they could have or should have.
Yeah.
So like WandaVision did things in there where, as just a Marvel fan, it's the simple things. Like as a comic book nerd in general, it's just those little things that made me go, thank you. Like you care. Especially when it comes to like nods and just like Easter eggs. Like if the story's good and you can be true to the source material and you throw in Easter eggs, then I'm going to love you for it when it comes to like those kind of shows. So, but I already said that I'm not going to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier week by week. So whenever that comes out, it's going to have to finish up before I watch it, because I'm just, I don't know, I have enough stuff to week by week, so I don't want to do it to that one. I think it's going to be good regardless. And yeah, it kind of feels hypocritical because Lovecraft Country, which I loved, and WandaVision, which I was unsure about, I did, but now something that I'm guaranteed to like, I'm kind of like waiting. So
Yeah.
We'll see. But reading, a lot of just random stuff. Nothing that's like really too particular. Yeah, some articles and just some random like PDFs, but nothing really substantial to even speak upon. And then listening to, I think, falls into that same. Well, no, that's not true. Listening to, oddly enough, there's a song from BTS, the Korean group.
Yeah.
Someone did this piano rendition of it called the song is called Ego, and there's a piano version. I don't know if Ego is an actual like vocal song with lyric song, but that piano is gorgeous. Like that, whatever it is. So it's very funny where I'm like, meh, I don't dislike BTS, but they're not my thing. But this song is just like, wow, that's a really, really cool song. So just be prepared for that to pop up somewhere in a D&D session.
What?
To BTS. That's how, yeah. That's how like fitting it is. Again, I don't know what the song Ego's about or whatever, but it in itself fits really, really well.
It fits with D&D?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, and the idea of playing music, because I feel like piano, violin, cello, like the orchestrals, I will allow even if they're anachronic to the time period. When you start getting to like guitars and things like that, then I'm like, I know. But like, well, no, electric guitars, I don't really like regular acoustic shit, but like electric guitar riffs, I kind of like steer away from with D&D mood music. But so I think because this is done on piano, it is kind of like that would work for something. It would have to be the right moment. But yeah, and then playing D&D all day. Been just pulling back a few on when it comes to different like video games, I think, just so I can do writing more, planning more, and just between working and then just doing random art and so forth. I think it's better just to hold off on my games, because I think that mindset needs to go toward because I plan to get another laptop and I don't want to start just bombarding it with games. I'm just now doing games again versus actually planning and so forth. So we'll see. But yeah, that's it for me. It is 12.
Yes. Well, I will go ahead and end it then.
Hey.
This has been the 37th episode of the PiP Podcast. If you would like to watch us again live, we live stream every Tuesday from 10:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every other Friday, same time with a guest. If you want to watch a previous podcast, you can go to Oni Central on youtube.com, or you can go to the PiP Podcast at youtube.com or Facebook. And yep, we will see you next time.